This is David Trungale from TraderTours.com/golf. Today we will analyze the swing of Kyle Berkshire. Make sure to subscribe to his YouTube channel. This guy is unbelievable, the longest hitter on the planet. So let's go ahead and take a look. Alright, so just a brief disclaimer here. This is my opinion of Kyle's swing, and I will not be offended if anybody takes this with a grain of salt, as I'm not 100% certain of Kyle's goals, but if I'm not mistaken, in one of his videos I thought he mentioned his interest of making a run at the PGA Tour, which I would love to see because I'm a fan of him, and I think he has the talent to potentially get there. So this brings up the debate of power versus accuracy, and knowing that he is the best in the world at power and hitting the ball far, it might be in his interest to create a more compact swing, but clearly that's up to him and, the coaches that he works with. So anyways, all right, this X here, what I'm noticing right off the bat is the club head is going underneath the plane. I would call this a flat takeaway. Shoulder is going this way opposed to downwards, which is something that I personally would like to teach. And then the lower body, he exemplifies some awesome movements regarding the pivot action and rotation, so we'll keep an eye on the hip depth here. But again, as that club goes back, when we arrive at P3, which is the terminology for when the left arm is parallel to the ground, we can see that that shaft is actually a touch flat of the plane line that I extended. Now, this is something you will not see very often if you study enough players within the top 100 world rankings, both presently and historically. So most players at P3, the shaft is either vertical of the plane by a bit, or it's dead parallel to the plane. And then when he gets to the top, there is that superb hip depth that I alluded to earlier, and he's going to make this really neat transition that we see with Dustin Johnson and a lot of the all-time greats, where if we draw a line from the belt line going up, check out how he increases the angle and squats down. So that's just a athletic, powerful move. Really, really great stuff. This guy's no joke. In addition to being a world long drive champ, he can play. He can shoot some really great scores. But again, as far as consistency goes, having the right arm this far behind you, to me, is a bit questionable. But again, if you're purely going for distance, it makes sense. But if you're looking to hit more fairways and greens, I think it's better to have your arms a bit more connected so that the right arm is closer to being in line sort of with the spine there. Because on the way down, what we will see here is that right elbow a little bit behind the body, as well as the club head being marginally stuck. So this will lead to what I would call an in-to-out swing path. Now, he's talented enough where, he can control this, play some great golf, and he's just going to obliterate a draw with an iron probably 330 yards right down the middle. It's just ridiculous. I drive at 285 with a driver. That'd be an interesting experience to have someone fly an iron 40 or 50 yards past you. But anyways, again, regarding more precision, I think having the right elbow a bit lower, turning back steeper, and then having the club not falling underneath the right arm like this would probably make him even better. So anyway, let's shift over to another image or two, because I want to compare this position at P3. Again, the shaft being flat somewhere around P3. Let's compare this to what some of the top 10 players on the tour are doing, just as a reference. Alright, so just to close things out here, we're looking at Colin Moriarty, number 3 in the world right now. And check out at P3 on the right, again, the shaft is more vertical of the original plane line. So if you're wondering, how does one do this? I can tell you it's something I've struggled with as well, but I think that making a steeper turn will help, and then also how you set your wrists will affect it, and lastly, minimizing the rotation in the forearms. If you feel like your left elbow is pointing down and it stays that way, that will help. So certainly those are too many swing thoughts to incorporate in one sitting, but those are some ideas. And then, of course, Louis Oosthuizen, number 9 in the world, we see a similar position in the sense that, again, on the right, at left arm parallel, the shaft is more vertical than the original plane line. And just for the heck of it, Ben Hogan, I know a lot of people like to refer to him as having a flat swing, but if we look on the left, even in his case, the club is fractionally steeper at P3 than the plane line. And on the right, again, we use the term flat in terms of his arms because they're connected and the right elbow is pointing down, but he still made a relatively steep shoulder turn. So just to compare, Morikawa on the left, the club head on the downswing intersecting with the hands. I know we're missing some frames on Kyle's swing, but I drew some arrows to sort of illustrate where that path is going, which again, it seems to be a bit into out. And of course, you can send in your own swing to tradertours.com/golf. I would be happy to provide some feedback for you. I'm David Trungale. Thank you for watching.